Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode, the third episode of this beautiful podcast. Again, welcome back, Mr. Ryan, after his shenanigans, let's put it that way, with Dan over the weekend. Let's just start off with how's Dan? How was he feeling? How was the party?
Yeah, it was good. He's annoyed because his bed broke, but
I don't want to know. That just
No.
sounds wrong on so many levels.
no, he went upstairs and then there was about 8 of us that just went up and piled on top of him, and there was a big crack. And then I ended up throwing all of the wood out the window, only to go outside and bring it back.
As you do.
Yeah.
Right. So today, I'm just going to give you a quick heads up about what we're going to be talking about in this pod, because a lot has happened today, especially today when we record this pod on Monday. And we're recording this at 4 o'clock. So if anything happens after this, not my fault. They left it too late to let us know. So I'm going to get Ryan's opinion on the Blackburn game after you guys had my opinion the other day. We're going to get Ryan to talk a little bit more about the Bulldog interview. We're also going to talk about the sale of Mo Barrow. We're going to talk about the selling, if it happens, of Swift. We'll be talking about Gunter and McCleary leaving. We've been talking about Osho and his new contract, what it could mean. We'll be talking about the situation between Obita and Adams, which could be an interesting one. As we just started recording this pod, Courtney just put out on Twitter that Josh Laurent is in contract talks with us and 2 other clubs as well, so we've talked about that. We're also going to be talking about, we're not just Reading-based podcast, we're also a football-based podcast. There was wrestling that happened last night as well, which I watched this morning, which was very good, but that's for another pod that I would like to start using wrestling. We might just record that separately where I do it myself and maybe a guest or someone, because I don't know if Ryan watches. Do you?
So.
Okay.
If it's on.
So I watched it this morning. I've got. If anyone's watching this and you're a WWE fan, please go and watch the Swamp fight. It is the most ridiculous cinematic wrestling fight I have ever seen in my life, but I loved it. Weirdly, I thought it was brilliant, and I thought it was amazing. But anyway, we will also be talking about the Huddersfield sacking. We'll also be talking about the Watford sacking. And then we'll be talking about, as this pod will be as well, for the pre-game and for Swansea. We'll have a little chat about them, a little chat about who we think will be playing the final game of the season. We will also be giving our scores. As you guys know, as I said before, what we will do is the day of the game is we will put out a tweet for everyone on the Gobcast and just say, right, what's the score going to be? If you get it right, what we will do is we will either try and bring you onto the podcast for you to share your views, or we will give you a massive shout out if you don't want to come on the podcast to everyone to go and follow you. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about what's the score, and then just a little brief of what the plan is for the next few weeks during pre-season, during the transfer window, before the start of the new season, of what we will be doing on YouTube, on Podbeam, plus other platforms as well. So get tuned and get ready and get excited for that. So, topic number 1. Go, Ryan, you have 30 seconds. I can't time it. I can time it, but I can't be bothered. Actually, I'm going to time you because I know when you start going, sometimes you need to stop. That's really wrong. I don't mean to do that. Right, you have 30 seconds from when I say to talk. I'll give you 60 because that's enough. 60 seconds to talk about the game against Blackburn. Ready, go.
Okay. So I missed the first sort of 10-15 minutes, all the action, but I did watch it back last night, and it was appalling. Shocking defending for both goals. It all started with poor passing, poor defending, and it was just a shit show. It really was. I thought until he went off, McIntyre had a solid game. There's obviously, you score 3 goals away from home, there's positives, but you concede 4, there's more negatives. We were watching a game and with Will and Dan said when Moore come on, he's going to score an own goal. Massive deflection off Moore. own goal. We just didn't look interested, didn't look up for it. And I'll say as well, from a neutral perspective, would have been a brilliant game. I saw there was like 38 goals in 10 championship games on Saturday, something like that. But Baldock's goal, brilliant finish. Or Baldock's goal is credited with it. But it just wasn't a good performance.
It's time went about 30 seconds ago, but but yeah, no, I completely see where you're coming from. And the issue I thought is I think when Mkhitaryan come off, I think the defence turned up to start off with, and I completely agree with what you're saying.
It was way too slow.
And that was the issue. So following the game, for a 4-3 win, I didn't and as you'll hear when I did the podcast yesterday. We got released today for you guys yesterday when this goes out. I spoke a little bit about what the key things I heard and what I saw from the Baldock interview. I put a poll out on Twitter as well regarding the Baldock interview and the Baldock situation. And I have to say, it's a mixed view of what I got. So, no, that's the wrong poll. But I got a mixed response with the poll that I got. So I put out the first question, which was, so there's a two-part question I put for everyone in advance. Is Baldock correct in what he says? Do you think he's correct?
Yes. Okay. 100%. He's bang on.
So you agree it was 68% of Reading fans?
I'm part of the 68%.
Yeah, I bet you were. A part of the 68% people that agreed with it. The next question I put is do you think he will be here next season?
Yes.
And 62% of people said yes.
I'm also part of that 62%.
Yeah. My opinion was I agree with the 68. I don't think he should be here next season. I think he's a good striker. I get what he says in the interview that he hasn't been given enough chance. Partly agree with the interview when he says he hasn't been given enough chance. I get it.
You can really tell that comes from the heart.
Yeah, his wages, on the other hand, tell a completely different story. And you can see by what Reading have done today. But you say, because I said my part yesterday, and I don't want to go off again so the viewers can sort of go, well, you just said that already, of what you think. But you say what you think about what he said.
I think he's absolutely spot on with everything that he said. First of all, from the start, how there's any debate whether that was his goal or not, it's clear as day. But there is a problem at the club, and it's not only in the boardroom or on the pitch. It is a whole club, because there's players on the pitch that are not pulling their weight on paper. And this is the problem with Reading, because I think Tony Mowbray said it before the game. On our day, we could beat anyone. Like, player for player, I think we are massively, massively underachieving. And that's down to players not pulling their weight. Likewise, there's a problem, and I saw earlier, I think it might have been in the group or just on Twitter in general, but we're still feeling the effects from Ron Gourlay.
God, yeah.
And thankfully, this is, I believe, going to be the last year of that financial fair play era.
I think so.
But that doesn't.
Who gives a crap about financial fair play anyway? Look at what happened to Man City anyway. So we just look at financial fair play as a blimmin' joke now, don't we? Unless you're Wigan, that have gone in the situation that they are. And if you're Wigan fans, if you're listening, you're probably not. But if you are, my heart goes out to you. I just never want that ever to happen to me. So yeah, carry on.
And yeah, he's right with what he said. Players are going to leave because we've got a lot of crap at the club. We've got average players on. I think it was Nigel Howell that actually said it, but we've got championship players on Premier League wages. And you shouldn't have that when you're Okay, now we're 14th in the Championship, 15th in the Championship, but you're finishing 19th in the Championship. You shouldn't have players on Premier League wages. I said it last time I was on with you before the Blackburn game, but Swift and Moore are good players in an average team. And there's too many average players that are on the wages. I know we are going to talk about it a bit later, but Obita and Adam can't be on short money. But obviously, it's come out today that they're going to get
that was what
a pay
we'll
cut.
discuss that a little bit more
Yeah,
detail because I have a few things I want to say on that a little bit. But yeah, I agree. And that swiftly moves it on nicely to Mo Barrow. Announced today by the club, and it was announced today that weirdly he has moved to South Korea. And I'm Youngbook Hyundai Motors FC for an undisclosed fee, which Ryan will go into in a minute of how much he hates undisclosed fees. But it is reported to be around about 1.4, maybe a bit more, £1 million, the exact same as what we got when we brought him from Swansea. He played 82 times for us. He got 14 goals and 12 assists in that game against Ipswich.
Let's not shy around it. Some of them goals have been massive, massive goals for the club. And like, okay, I'm not Barrow's biggest fan, especially for last season. Like every window, he seemed to have tried to force his way out, and he's finally got his way. But I know he's a fantastic player, and he offers something that we have sorely missed this season.
Yeah,
but
I completely agree.
I don't think his head was in the right place.
The issue, and I see a lot of Reading fans saying we're going to miss him. I don't think we're going to miss him as a person, but we're going to miss his style of play.
Yes.
And I agree with Courtney with what he says this is an attitude of a player that ever since Yapstam left has wanted to leave every transfer window. My issue with him is he's good. If he's good, he's very good. If he's bad, he's awful. He is awful. He hasn't got that bracket in the middle where I can't really pick a player who I can think off the top of my head that would be it. But the sort of attitude I think of is like a Grealish, where if Grealish is on his game, he could play for any club in the Premier League, by far. When he's not on his game, mid-table. Where with Mo Barrow, if he's on his game, he could play for top half of the Championship, top 2 easily. If he's not his game, he could play for the relegation. He hasn't got that mentality to go, okay, I'm not doing well, but I need to do something.
Yeah.
I need to get a presence into this game to do something. For 1.6, I think I'm trying to look through here Twitter while I talk with you guys as well at the same time. I've heard different varies of it. Of the price of, but if it's exactly the same as what we brought it for, no harm, no foul, and that's what 40,
we have absolutely robbed them.
Yeah, and we've got 20 grand off a week off wages, unless they do a Football Manager thing where we have to contribute each week to the wage, which I fucking hate that filter on Football Manager. But unless we've done that, if we haven't, then this is a brilliant sell by the club, and this is where the Reading fans I knew this morning were really happy about this. And then Ryan's now going to why do you not like undisclosed
fees? I don't know. It just seems like it's a very Reading thing, isn't it? I think we invented the undisclosed fee.
Oh yeah, and we must have.
When was the last time you saw us sign a player or sell a player where it wasn't an undisclosed fee? I know what it means.
Was Puskas introduced as a record signing, or was that undisclosed?
It was undisclosed. Because the meaning of undisclosed is there's no set fee, because you can't disclose it when there's possibility of it changing. In that sense, it would be like George Puskas, £2 million up front, whatever it is, plus 10 million if we get promoted. You can't disclose and say it's 12 million when it's not 12 million. And that's why we do it. But I just hate the word. Like, just say
Yeah, I get what you're
Like,
saying. It
you know,
annoys fans a lot more because we don't know
yeah,
what's actually going on.
yeah. Like, you know, obviously I play a lot of Football Manager, but when you sign a player, they don't say an undisclosed fee.
Right.
And I feel like that's the way it should be. They should tell how much it is. So let's say Mo
Even if they
Barrow's
just
joined
rounded it to the whole
for
total, right? We don't need to
yeah,
know if after 20 games they get 20 million. I don't care about that. How much is he going to cost us overall? Is it going to cost
yeah,
us 20 million? All right, 20 million it is then. Just
yeah,
if it goes, we've just signed George Puskas on a 5-year deal, could be worth up to.
yeah.
All right,
But
cool.
the way they do it on Football Manager is like 2.8 million with potential to
Yeah.
increase to 12.8 million. And I think it's just a better way to do it. And it like the way I'd say it is it kind of makes me as a fan feel excluded from the club and like I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with everything that Baldock said yes on Saturday, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly a very worrying time. And the fact that
What, for the
now
club or
yeah,
as a
yeah,
fan?
for the club. Well,
See,
both.
I take a different stance on that. I
Okay.
don't think it's a worrying time at all. I think what they've done, for me, what I can understand why people say they're worried. I had this big, you'll probably see in the group chat, Adam, who I'm trying to get on the podcast, which he said, hopefully in a few weeks' time, could get him on, where me and him always have this debate about the club. He has a worry of the owners of if they leave in 10 years' time and do stuff like this. And I say, why are we worrying about that far in the future? I'm not worried about the club. I think the club know what they're doing because they will not go back to the mistake that they did before.
Yeah.
People
Okay.
that are trying to pick out the owners, I understand to a certain extent. But what you've got to understand is as well at the same time is recently, a few weeks ago, there was £30 million just pumped into the club by the owner himself.
I do remember seeing that, yeah.
Not only has he pumped in £30 million of himself, he's built us a new training ground. He's built us the youth. He's trying to entice the managers that we have to more use of our youth system. He's using the partners that he has with the clubs that he owns to get players experience. Tom Holmes has gone to Belgium, if I'm
Yeah,
right. He's gone out
KSV,
there and
Rollerstair, however you say it.
absolutely, apparently he's one of the best players they've got. And that Belgium's people might find it a lower league. It is a lower league, but at the same time, they've got big teams in there as well. And if he's doing well in a team like that, that's brilliant. You've got China. We've got connections with that now that will generate money in and we'll try and do. I have no worries about the club financially now. I have no
I
worries about the club financially in 5 years' time. Because that was one of the things, Billy, if you're listening, I love you, man. You're a beautiful man. But at the same time, Billy said that we need to be worried about 10 years' time when he's not here. Okay. But no club ever looks that far into the future. They look at
no.
the end of the season, who played crap, who did well, who deserves to be here, who needs a new contract, who do we need to bring in, who do we need to go away, and how do we generate more money for the club?
I think the problem with that is that's not what we've done in the last 5 years. And I
Of course
completely
not.
agree. That is what we should do.
But
Like going back to what I said, we've got a lot of crap here that need to go. And I think this is the transfer window where that finally happens.
But do you not agree with that the summer transfer window was the start of the 5-year plan? Start of the
Yes.
future plan. Because
Yes.
we got Ijeri on loan, which we would now pay £3.5 million for. That will be a fight. I'm hoping, really hope the club has switched on at this point for his contract and do him like they did with Puskas, give him a 5-year contract and then let him be here at a club that's sustainable for years to come and build a team around
Give him a blank check.
around him and Puskas, see how they work together and build it around them. Then we've got, who else have we got? All the rest of the loans we don't need to talk about because they were good just for this season.
Let's talk about youth as well, because we've got a good youth system.
Mm.
Look at the likes of, okay, we're going to talk about him shortly, but Osho, hopefully going to be here for a long time. Michael Elise. We got Omar Richards.
You listened to the pod that I released yesterday.
System.
If you listened to the pod, I couldn't rave more about Elise even if I could. I love the bloke. Absolutely love him. Okay.
Yeah, but we've got a good youth setup.
Yeah.
And that shows with, I know he's obviously left now, but Danny Loader. in the England setup, he's one of the most hyped about young players, and he's going to go on to massive things. Not even just now. We've always had a good youth system. Look at Jack Stacey doing it in the Premier League. Tariq Fosu, hopefully soon to be in the Premier League.
Oh, I'm got a controversial opinion here.
Okay.
I don't think we've messed up as enough selling those players as what people make out.
No, I don't think so either.
You look at Jack Stacey, signs for Bournemouth, Premier League. They're going to get relegated, unfortunately. I like the club. I don't know why I like them, but I think I like Eddie Howe more than I like the club. Going to get relegated, going to be the same division of us. Taku Fosu, I don't think he's starting at all for Brent, or hasn't started at all for him. Same division as us. Gylfi Sigurdsson is the only one I think we did good business in. 10 million, I think it was, plus a sell-on fee if they sold him in the future. Then they sold him to Swansea, or Tottenham first and then Swansea, I think. That was a weird merry-go-round of clubs.
Hoffenheim.
Yeah, when we sold to Hoffenheim, and then when they sold them on to Tottenham and then went to Swansea, and that happened. And I don't think we've done as bad as what people make out. I get what people say, oh, that's another one we missed out on. Well, no, they're in the same division as us. They're the same. We just don't want to beat it. We just don't need that person. I get maybe in the future, but we'll talk about Oslo in a second, because I want to go on about John Swift. And I get what you're saying about the future of the club and with the players we've got. I think against Luton, and I'm not going to stop going on about this, we had 6 players starting at the end of that game that were on the pitch that were from the academy. And not only that, we've got Holsgrove, whatever his name is, he was in Spain, that we won't loan out again because we want him next season. Not only that, we've got Boyce Clark, goalkeeper, Luke Southwood, goalkeeper. 2 of them could be fighting for number 1 spot. Cabral's 30-something, so we won't be around forever, but he's fantastic. So it'd be good to have them 2 around Raphael for him to mentor them and help them. I ain't got to worry about it.
Talking about the young keepers coming through, I'm sure it was Sal Bibbo when he left actually said,
what a man he
was. One thing that we will not have to worry about at Reading is goalkeepers. And I feel like that kind of got lost a little bit, in the sense of 2 years later, we went and got Ali Al-Habsi and Jonathan Bond. And ever since then,
still don't get that Bond one.
We've had to buy keepers.
Yeah. I still don't get why we got a Bond. I've never rated him. I don't think he's good. He did do anything. He had that slick back hair that annoyed me as well. But I met him once and he had really slick back, gel back hair. It looked like he used a whole bottle of gel just to stick his hair back. But yeah, I agree with you. Sal Babbo, he did like a good old drink. He was quite a funny bloke as well. Right, moving on, because we've got a lot to discuss in this pod. John Swift has today been linked and been told that by the end of the week he could be initial £3.5 million fee for a player that so I'm reading off while I talk as well at the same time to you guys. He's got 6 goals and 10 assists. He has another 2 years on his contract. He's 25 years old. He's been here 4 or 5 years, I think, as well at the same time. Right, I got slated a lot on Twitter for my opinions, but okay, so we're going to do this quite easily, and we're not going to try and get into a rant too much over this. Okay, so do you think £3.5 million is a good deal?
I wouldn't say it's a good deal.
Let's do this quickly, right? Yes or no? Is it a good deal? Yes or no?
I don't think either.
Okay.
I think we could have got more, but we should be happy that we got $3.5 million for him.
Okay.
We could get a lot less.
So while you talk, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up what the abuse I got on Twitter, right? So one of the Twitter pages, I'm going to shout him out because I do like his Twitter profile. And I do respect him a lot for what he produces all the time. So Talk Reading, I'm going to give you a shout out. I'm going to tag you somewhere as well, just to say I mentioned you in the pod. as well. I put £3.5 million plus add-ons plus a percentage next fee. In this climate, what do you expect to have any more? The amount of money for a player that's done well in one full season, not done it in multiple, he's done it in one full season, is good business. He then put Swift was being called as one of the best players in the Championship not so long ago. Players leave this division for 20 plus million. Even in this current climate, 3.5 million for a club's best player cannot be called good business. Necessary business, yes. Good business, no. So I said, so what do you think he's going to get? 20 million for him? That are players that has only done well in 1 out of 4 seasons. He's but never said that to call it good business. The fee would have been needed to be a minimum of 7 million. And he goes, I think it's necessary to help the club's financial situation. I can't see how you could be happy with 3.5. I never said I was happy. I said it's what we're going to get in this climate. I said, this is what we need. This is not what we expect anymore. And I'm looking at you lot out there. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you can't see me, but I'm talking to you. As 3.5 million for the situation the club's in. All right. Let's not think about the amount of wage he's on for what Gruely did before he left. I think it's reported he's on 25 grand a week, maybe a bit less.
I did see something earlier saying with Barrow's wages and Swift's wages, that's going to be about £5 million for the two of them in the transfer, and about £45,000 a week after the wage.
So I'm looking at what Adam put in the group chat, because he put some brilliant stuff in there about wages and all this and all of that. I can't see it anywhere, but it's looking around about 60 grand just for them two. And then the best story I heard of them all, which we will talk about next, is Gunter McCleary leaving. But we'll talk about that in a minute. And I'm pre-warned, I will talk a little bit about it. I want to get it off my chest one more time, and then I won't ever.
I bet you do.
I might go into it again, but I won't go into it anytime soon. But I might. But I want to get it off my chest one more time. So 3.5 million. It looks like there's going to be add-ons that could raise it to around about 5-6 plus million. It also is that I have been seeing that there is going to be a percentage of next sale. It doesn't say what. I know that in Nigeria's contract with the loan, that Liverpool will have a 30%, which is friggin' high, if when Nigeria gets sold next. So Swift being sold, we had a discussion on the very first podcast, right? And I remember this so clearly, and you're laughing because you remember what you said. What you said was, I said, do you think Swift's going to be here next season? I said, no, he will be sold and we will get money. You said he will stay because of the project and because that face says it all. What's happening next? So how do you feel about this deal?
Just to think, I said that 5 days ago. Is it 5 days ago?
5 or 6 days ago? It wasn't even that long ago.
No, it was Thursday, I think we done it. And it's now Monday. But like, I got to be honest, I the way I said it, I was kind of saying it with my heart rather than my head. Like, I want him to stay, but I don't think he will. No. And like, it's almost guaranteed. The fee, it is what it is. It could be more, it could be less. But like you said, one good season. So I've actually got his so this is his 4th full season at Reading.
Mm-hmm.
And this season, it's only showing goals. But in terms of goals, this is his 2nd best season after his 1st. But
wasn't his 1st season under Yap Sam?
I believe so, yeah.
Wasn't
2016-17.
Yeah, that was the season where
playoff final.
Playoff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I very much really liked him. The way he played with Yap Sam, he controlled and like he does this season. He's the dictator, I think, of the team and where we're going and what we're doing. And I think that he's the one moving forward. So yeah. So what I'm thinking is what I would like to ask you is do you think that they have got? And I saw this idea floating around. Do you think they've just accepted that 3.5 million because it's the same amount of fee that they need for Ajaria?
It does kind of make me think that, but I don't think that is it. You've also got to think, has he now got 1 year left on his contract
2.
at the end of the season?
I think it's 2 more years. I'm not 100% sure.
But it's kind of cashing in when you can, in
Yeah.
the same sense. Like, I'd rather lose him now for however much we do get than next summer on a free or the summer after on a free. Like I said last time as well, in fact, you texted me this morning saying we've had it, and my response was replaceable. Just one word, and that's what it is. And to be honest, I don't think we even need to replace him because, like I said on the last time we spoke about this, we've got Elise and Ajaria who are that same type of player.
Yeah.
And I think most of us agree, you can't have all 3 of them in the same system.
No.
And we need one of them, and now there's the possibility of having them both of them if we play a sort of 4-2-3-1 where you could have Rinomota and Ajaria as holding midfielders and Elise just in front.
Yeah. I completely agree.
And it works. Will I be sad to see him go? Yes. Do I think he deserves the move? Yes. He should be playing in the Premier League. He's okay. You would say he's had one good season. I think he has had a couple of good seasons.
All right, he's had good seasons if you combine the other 3 together. He hasn't played a full season where he's contributed consistently enough. That Yap Stam first season he was very good at the start, very good at the end. Very much in the middle, he dropped off and needed to be rested, if I remember. The next 3 seasons, injuries come into play, a few bits and pieces as well.
After the England and 21s,
yeah, he sort of dropped off and come back. I do apologise if you watch this on YouTube. I am blue. I don't get what's going on. I am the blue light district. Take that as you will. And so moving on. So with John Swift, I think you're completely right. I think you can't have them 3 in. You can't have Swift as a deep line midfielder because that just takes all of his skills and all of it away from him. I think that's the main thing from him is you want him to play in the position where he's going to be good. You also have 2 players that may not have the same sort of creativity but have the potential to be better. Yeah. You've got Elise, who has the potential to be one of the best players in the Championship. He could easily, in the future, get into a mid-table Premier League team. If we don't do well enough, we can do a Judge Jude Bellingham with him, sending him to Dortmund. He has potential, and that's it. So that's a good thing. So let's move on to a happier note. A very happy note. Chris Gunter and Gareth McCleary has been announced not by the club, but by BBC Berkshire and by anyone that's important that you actually listen to, that them 2 are leaving the club at the end of the season. I'm going to let Ryan talk first before comes in.
So I can get a word in.
Yeah, before I start off. So, Ryan, okay, so I have 3 questions for you. And this is me being impartial. Okay. I'm going to put my impartial hat on. I'm going to take my very happy face off. And I'm going to talk to you like I would anyone. Okay. So do you think their time here has been a success? Okay. All right. Quick answers. Quick and easy answers. Okay. So yes or no answers. Has their time here been a success?
No.
Okay. Second one. Do you think that they've had a good season, apart from one, which I know that they did, one season that they've been good at? Good for the club?
Yeah, I do, yes.
Okay.
I think they've both had moments.
Okay.
And by moments, I mean seasons. But not throughout the whole time.
Okay. So 3, are they replaceable?
Yes.
Okay. So Talk. Tell me how you'll feel it. Right. Tell me your
Right.
personal feelings about them leaving, and tell me
Who would you like me to talk about first? Chris
both of them
Gunter
at the
or
same
Gareth
time.
McCleary?
Both of them at the same time.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I'll go for McCleary first. The reason I think the time is right is injuries, for one. He's missed a lot of football over the last couple of years. Not only due to injuries, but obviously being frozen out by Jose Gomez. But he is on a downward spiral.
Do you think him being frozen out was right or wrong?
I couldn't comment on it without because obviously
your
there's something there.
Of what you've seen, okay, of them. Do you think do you think Gomez is right overall?
I do, because you wouldn't have that for no reason whatsoever. There has to be something there. And in a way, this kind of goes back to what Baldock said in the interview, because they did speak a bit about that. But the way he said in that interview, there was no reason for it at all. But I do think that with Baldock as well, because at the end of the day, he's a striker, and you see it, for example, at Leeds. We all look at Leeds and think Patrick Bamford, utter dog shit.
Because he is.
Marcelo Bielsa. You see the whole joke about it on Twitter all the time. If Marcelo Bielsa had unlimited FIFA coins, he'd have a full team of icons with Patrick Bamford playing it up front.
I want to talk about Leeds in this pod as well a bit later on as well, because I've got a few things to say about them. But we'll talk about it a bit later. But yeah, I agree with you. All right. So
and with a striker, it is easy. You can just not like a striker, and that's understandable. With a winger and a fullback, I think it's a bit different. And especially I will be honest with Chris Gunter. I've always liked Chris Gunter, and I think he's unfairly at times scapegoated by the fans. I think he's fairly consistent. Obviously, he does have the occasional absolute stinker, but everyone does. And it shows this season the fact he didn't really have a proper pre-season, and then Yedon got injured, and he stepped in, and he looked like he was up to it. And that's why I know myself, as well as a lot of other fans, are thinking, well, I wouldn't mind giving him another year. McCleary, on the other hand, like I just said, he's not the player he was, and he's never going to be that player again. So McCleary, I'm happy to see go. I do think massive respect for the guy, because he's given 8 years of his life to this club. But the time is right.
Right. Have you seen the film Minions? You know the bit when Groot used to go, mate, now. Right. And I'm going to look straight into the camera. I'm going to look our way because I've got a light screaming right in my face. It's really bright. To everyone that says that I single out Chris Gunter and Gareth McCleary every single time, it's because you're right. I do, because they're awful. They were signed 7 years ago, combination to get us promotion or to help us get back to the Premier League. I think it was 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, that they were signed to get us back to the Premier League. Have they done that? No. Have they been a success during their time? No. They have not done what they are paid to do, and ridiculous wages they're on. Chris Gunter is very well known in the Reading community for, if he can't do what he wants, he turns his back to his own corner flag, a little touch, and he falls over in his ass. He does it all the time. It's the Chris Gunter thing. I think we call it the Gunter way now. And he hasn't done anything right. We have struggled to find a right back that has done anything. I see Andy Griffin. Since Murty left, and then we had Andy Griffin come in, and he was quality. I'm one of the most underrated players we have, I think. We had Ulysses De La Cruz as well. I love that bloke just for his name. But we've finally got a right back in Andy Yidam that is consistent, quality, and if he has a bad game, he's still a 7 out of 10. Chris Gunter, consistent, yes, with a 5 every single season, a 5 out of 10, right?
I think 5's a bit unfair.
Okay, 6.
I'd say 7.
6. I'm being
Yeah.
generous, and I'm off on one now. 6. The only people that think he's good are Welsh. And that's it. Gareth Bale knows it well, isn't he? Yeah. And China, I know that you lot have like a fascination with Chris Gunter. You can have him now. Take him with you. Fuck him off. If they
I've got to be
on-
honest. I don't think any Chinese people are going to be watching this.
No, if you are, hello. I don't know what the word is. Konnichiwa. But and my theory behind McCleary is I think he's an uptight, righteous, thinks he's a Mr. Know-it-all, thinks he's better than anything that he wants to have. Biggest load of rubbish we have signed at the football club in I don't know how long. And the thing that I really found out what a character he really was is when he got told to leave, and then you look right, I have mass respect for Chris Gunter. Mass respect. I don't like him, but you don't have to like someone to respect him. You've got to respect someone for who they are and what they do. For me, Chris Gunter, I have respect for you, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you get a championship team. I think you're going to go with Neil Warnock because he absolutely loves you. He tried to sign you about 3 times, but I think you're going to go off with him. McClear, on the other hand, I hope you go to a League 2 club and actually don't even get played there. I hope you want to play as your gameplay and don't even get played. Because you whined like a little on social media when Gomez told you, and he said this in the podcast as well, when he spoke to A.D. Williams, that you in July, after the final game of the season, the day after the final game of the season, he told you to find a new club because we needed your wages to go and do other things because of financial fair play so we can sign players. What did you do? Oh, yeah, I've been locked out of the first team dressing room. Look, picture, Instagram. Look, I'm hard. Oh, look, people don't love me. Oh, if people don't love you, get over it. I see you on social media on Instagram posting pictures with your new Mercedes in America, just fanning about. All right? I don't wish you success. Thank you for your time of being at my club for 8 years. If anybody, and I'm nearly finished at my rant here, so I do apologise, listeners and viewers, if you've had enough, but I'm nearly finished. If anybody tells me that they are a legend for the club, shove it up your ass. And I'm going to look at the camera really close to this, really, really close. If anyone says that they are legends or been icons, go away.
Can we, while we're talking about that, you put in a group a couple of weeks ago about legend status, everything like that. Yeah. I think majority of the people in there said legends isn't the word. I think a couple of people, myself included, did go with legends to try and sort of get a little nibble off of you.
You probably did.
Yeah. But legends isn't the word. However, you have to be fair. They have both been great servants. I'm just looking on online now, but when we beat Fulham 2-1 at Craven Cottage, that was Chris Gunter's 300th appearance for the club. And you don't make 300 appearances. No. New Year's Day when we beat them 2-1.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That was his 300th appearance for the club. So, Chris Gunter, great servant. Legend, no.
No. So the issue we have as a football club, I think, as Reading, is we are not big enough to have that legend status like a Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, them sort of thing. We have to really think about who the legends are for our club. People that get us promoted and get us a step forward to where we were when they joined. They haven't. They have stayed in the same place. Thank you for your time. You useless, overpriced waste of space. Now, and I don't think I have sworn on this pod yet, and I've tried really hard not to, but this is the only time I'm going to try not to swear. Well, I am going to swear. The only time I'm going to use a really bad, but fuck off. Anyway, but yes, thank you very much for your service. I don't give a shit about you. I don't care where you go. Actually, I do care where you go, so I can laugh at you a little bit more. But I will not talk about them. I will try not to talk about them anymore, apart from when I get told that they have left, where I will do a celebration dance in my underwear on Twitter for everyone to see. Right. Good news. Osho is apparently planning on be given a new contract. Great news for me. Brilliant.
Great news.
Him
Yes.
and McIntyre have been standout, I think, players since the restart. Top players, top professionals. You see the love that they have for the club. I think the club re-released the video that they did last season or the season before, where they sat down with their mum.
After that, I went and watched that whole video.
Yeah, and
it was like EFL stories, something like that.
I absolutely. I think anyone that that is that type of person where McIntyre also know each other through the whole academy.
Yeah, they said during that video they I don't know exactly what it was, but it must have been about under sevens. They played for 2 different teams in the same town, and they did show a picture during that video of Tom McIntyre's team lifting the cup, and in the background, Gabe Osho's there, and they used to go to games together as well. Like,
it's amazing,
and that's what I think we have missed: passion of playing for the club that you support.
Yeah,
because I'll go on that now a little bit, but McIntyre, Osho, Reading fans, they play for the shirt. Also, I know he's playing for Oxford, but Rob Dickey as well.
I want him.
Hopefully he does come.
That sounded really creepy, and I do apologise. Well, want him, but you know.
But he's someone that will play for the club because he's got a point to prove. And going back to what Baldock said, because he said unfinished business.
Yeah.
He's got the right mindset, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what we miss. We want people to play for the shirt, not the money.
I saw a
Obviously,
quote.
money is a bonus, but...
Yeah, I saw this quote, and it was by Tony Adams. One of the only, I think, dying breed of players he was, of putting his head on the line and putting his body on the line. And he come out with this quote, and I think it's correct for modern day football, which I don't think is enough. And he come out of a quote saying, you should play for more for the name on the front of the shirt than you should for the back of the shirt.
Yes. If you play for the name on the front, they remember the name on the back.
Yeah. And for me, we don't have enough of that. We're getting players to get that, but we're nowhere.
McIntyre is going to be one of them people.
He's not going to be. He is. After the block he did against Blackburn, where he put his head in the way of that ball and knocked him out. That man's superb.
Let's go back. What did he do in his very first Reading game?
He got a skull fracture, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he played on.
And not only he played on,
He played for the whole game, didn't he? If I was right after that.
Yeah.
He taked up his head and carried on. Absolutely brilliant. And I think this moves on swiftly to the same sort of contract situation. Is we want him, and I want to see a 5-year deal for Osho, and I want to see a 5-year deal to McIntyre by the end of this window to prove to them, to show them that we will help you as much as you will help us. We will give you football and help you grow. And we will do that. And I want to see that. I hope they do that. Which moves swiftly on to a conversation which I feel very uncomfortable talking about, which is about Jordan Obita and Charlie Adam. The reason why I feel very uncomfortable about this is because I really like Jordan Obita. I really want him to be
a one-club man.
I want him to be the Ryan Giggs of Reading.
Better.
Anyone's better than Ryan Giggs. He wasn't that great. That's a controversial topic that we won't discuss yet, but I will get into. And also likes to sleep with his brother's missus. So the thing that I want Obita to be, Charlie Adam, good leader for the dressing room, yeah. Does he need to be in? No.
I think with Adam, it is like what I said on the last one about Michael Morrison, the John O'Shea thing. I'd like to see him. If he wants it, I'd be happy to give him another year.
Do you know what I think we should do?
Then
let Adams go back to Blackpool. And he said this And he loves Scotland as well. And I've seen talk that he would be happy to go back to
I saw
Scotland as
that,
well.
yeah.
Where I think it would be a fairy tale end to his career, where he can do his coaching badges and do everything he wants. I'm not
Your
saying
boyhood club.
If he stays, I'm like, okay, all right, we've got to back up someone who can ping it around. Oh, okay, that's cool. If he goes, okay, cool. But I want him to go back to. If you're watching this, I'm not going to tag you in it because I'm quite scared of you watching it and criticising me. But if anyone does give him a shot of this, then do. But if you go back to, if you stay at Reading, that's great. If you leave, then thank you ever so much for what you've done. Over that Christmas period, you were the main focal point of our team, and you helped us get through that period. So I'm very thankful for what you've done, much more so than Gunter McCleary. But I'm very thankful for what you've done. But if you go back to Blackpool, finish off your coaching badges, finish off playing for them, and then end up their manager, then I think we'll all be happy with that, and we'll all be thankful. You're very much in the bracket of the Les Ferdinand, Martin Keown era that we had at Reading, where you were past your prime, but you still did the bit that you want. The reason I say Martin Keown is my poll's just gone out. My poll's just gone out, so that's good. So it goes. So I'm happy if they stay or go. What do you think?
I do understand where you're coming from with that. I agree with you with Obita, because everything that he's been through for the last 2-3 years, I feel horrible for him. And it's kind of like that Jem Karakan situation where he got injured against Leeds when Michael Brown broke his leg. Let's not talk about that because yeah. But I would like him to stay, and like you said, that one club man. But there's always the worry that he will get injured again. Thankfully, he's been back a good sort of. Oh, to be fair, by the time he's come up, it will be the end of the season. It will almost be a year, and he's not got seriously injured, thankfully. But with the contract offer that we're obviously talking about now, the club has said you're going to have to take a pay cut.
Yeah,
I would like Obita to stay on a pay as you play kind of contract, where it's determined on the injury that you get, because I think I'm right in saying that there was a possibility that he would have had his leg amputated with the seriousness of the last injury.
I'm just going to change the subject for 1 second. I'm just going through Twitter to find stats, and there's a video of Harry Kane kicking the ball at a target to Surrey's baby, and someone has put on Twitter, "Thank fuck Patrick Bamford's Missy isn't pregnant. The baby wouldn't be born before he managed to hit the ball." I'm going to like and retweet that. That was epic. Anyway, going back to, I agree with what you're saying.
Just because there's nothing worse that you want to give him a 3-year contract or whatever on this amount, and then 2 months down the line, another serious injury, and he's out for 2 of them 3 years.
Yeah, and that's the issue.
Yeah. With Adam, I just said as well, I'd like to see him have a year, if he wants to carry on playing, give him another year, and then do the John O'Shea thing and become part of a coaching team. I just want them to retire here and
just stay here.
Get a coaching team that are better players.
So on positive transfer talk as well, as we were talking on this pod just now, Josh Lorient is in contract talks with Reading, Stoke and someone else.
Middlesbrough, I think it was.
Middlesbrough as well, to sign for next season. Also, there is that Pedro Mendes talk as well for this next season for a striker, which would be interesting, as we got Puskas, João, Baldock, Pedro Mendes, Mite. I think with that situation, someone's going. 2 of them maybe going. I think I don't want to get too much into this transfer talk because we've got a lot more to discuss in this pod, and I don't want it to run too long because I know a lot of people have a lot of things to do, and you can watch on and off and come back and go. But we want to try and do it as much as we can. There's a lot that's happened that we want to get out for you guys as well. So Josh Lorient, I've looked into him. He's a CDM sort of type player. Apparently against Liverpool, the 2 games he played, he absolutely stood out as one of the good players, and that's against Liverpool. Pedro Mendes, I think he's a quality player. He's from the Sporting and Lisbon Academy. You know they're going to be good. If you're in Sporting, Benfica or Porto, if I was Reddit, I would look, personal opinion, at Porto. There's a striker in Porto called Fabio Silva, who is just outrageously good. He's such a good... If you're going to go with someone like that, I'd go for him. But Pedro Mendes, he's smashed it in the Europa League. He smashed it in the young team. Every time he's played, he's done really well. So yeah, I would be happy with both of them. Be interesting to see who goes though, but that would be for another pod to talk about. What do you think about the Josh Lorient and Pedro Mendes talk?
To be honest, I don't really know anything about either of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at Pedro Mendes' stats and like his goal scoring record, and that speaks for itself. He's done.
Yep.
He's walked the walk. He's done it. He's proven that he's capable of scoring goals. And I don't know what the fee that's being reported, if there is any.
I think it's a loan. My knowledge, it will be a loan to a mandatory, a bit like what we've done for Algeria.
Yeah.
Sporting do love a loan to a future where we have to buy it after a certain amount of games, and then a big percentage fee in there.
But with a loan, it's kind of risk-free, isn't it? Look at an example of like a loan that hasn't worked out, but we're no worse off, is Virginia.
Oh, I thought it was quality.
It was awful loan, but we're no worse off for it. It is risk-free.
We'll at some point after the Swansea game, we will get into more of the transfer talk, and we will do a live stream and talk to you guys, and you could talk to us about things that are happening, that are coming on, what we can see, what's happening. So the next 2 are a bit non-Reading related. It's about the Huddersfield sacking and the Watford sacking. Huddersfield, out of the blue. They just beat West Brom.
I did not see that coming at all.
They just beat West Brom. They just absolutely... They did what he needed to do, Dan Crowley, and I think his brother's Jack?
Brother, Nicky.
Is it Nicky?
Nicky Crowley.
They do, and they will get a better job than Huddersfield anyway. Anyone can do
100%.
They proved that they can hack it in the Championship. And not only have they got a depleted team that has the mentality of losing and changed their mentality to winning, not only over a short period of time where they were on and off and they lost games and they won games, it's just outrageous the second. And I think Huddersfield apparently are now about to appoint Chris Hughton, which every Championship team would want. He's a quality manager. I know a lot of Reading fans wanted him before Bowen, during Bowen, after Bowen, when Bowen happened. It happened with him. I think that's a bit of a... And I think there was also... I read the sacking website when they sacked him. And basically what they said in the sacking was that they had differences of views for the future, and they wanted to try and crack on and do different things for the future. Ryan's talking to someone, so we'll leave him to it. So in my opinion, I think they did it wrong. I don't think it's right. I think Chris Hughton will go in there. I think he will do what Chris Hughton does. And I think he will do exactly what he's meant to do. So, yeah.
The thing is, with Huddersfield, in my opinion, they are a bit of a sinking ship. And I got to be honest, Danny Crowley is a manager that I've watched for a very long time. I thought he'd done a bloody brilliant job at Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
And
no money as well.
I would love to have someone like him at Reading.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that is one of the worst things that Huddersfield could have done. They were going down.
I think one of the worst things that they did was when the second season in the Premier League and not spend any money.
Yeah.
They're their own downfall there. And I see a lot of people on their Twitter page and a lot of people on the Twitter talking about the sacking as The board are a bit of a disgrace at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about Huddersfield. I'm just going by what I see. And that leads on to board being a disgrace to the Watford sacking.
It's a joke.
So Watford have had 9 managers now in 4 years. Right? I don't like Nigel Pearson at all. I think he's okay manager. I think he gets too much hype around himself. I think the Leicester City job, I don't think he really did much with that. I think he just turned up and he had the players to survive for Claudio Ranieri to come in and win them the league. Nigel Pearson should not get any credit for that win of that league. There's also talk that I've seen today as well, where I saw that he had a bit of a tete with the owners about funds and about their vision and where they wanted to go and stuff. And you could just see Nigel Pearson and Craig Shakespeare just being an utter bellend during situations like that as well. So I'm not surprised. I'm shocked that they did it now. 2 games to go. They've only 3 points clear. And they've got to play Manchester City and Arsenal, if I'm right. Man United or one of them two, and Arsenal to go. So it's a bit of a... But yeah, what do you think?
Watford are well known for not having any patience.
No, they literally wake up in the morning. I think they go, "Oh, we're doing all right. 1 loss, right? I don't want him. I've had enough
toss
of him."
of a coin. Are we going to sack him? Heads
Funny
it's yes,
thing, have you
tails
seen
it's
who's
no.
favourite?
No?
John Terry.
Oh.
Right? I tweeted this, or I think I said this. I don't know where I put it, but I heard John Terry's favourite. I think I told this to my mum, where I heard this, and I turned around to her and I said, "Why would John Terry leave a stable Aston Villa where he'll probably take over from Dean Smith at the end of the season because Smith's done utter rubbish with them if they go down, and go to a club that sack a manager I think it's average every 6 months."
It's probably less than that.
Probably. I'm just roughly guessing. I'm like, if I was John Terry, I would go, "No, I'm all right at the moment, mate. Don't worry about it." So,
I'm going to throw a name in there.
Go on.
I'm just going to throw a name in there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Danny Cowley get a job like Watford.
That would be a big jump.
It would be a big jump, but he's capable. I'm looking at him online now, and he was at Concord Rangers for a year, done a very good job there.
I managed to want some football manager.
And got headhunted and went to Braintree, done a good job there, and then again got headhunted and made a massive jump up to go to Lincoln after 1 season at Braintree and got them to the FA Cup quarter-final.
Yeah, I remember that.
Got them promoted.
Weren't they in the National League?
I think he got them back-to-back promotions. But at Concord, okay, I'm going to read the page here because when he took over, they were playing Essex senior football in front of crowds of around 50 people. Promoted in the first season, narrowly missed out in the second season on back-to-back promotions, but then went up the following year. And one promotion to the National League South, 3 promotions in 4 seasons. Jeez. Then he goes to Braintree, went to Braintree, got them their highest ever finish in the National League and got into the playoffs and lost to Grimsby, who I think won the playoffs that year. Then in his first season in charge of Lincoln, got them promoted into the Football League by winning the title with 2 games to spare and got them to the FA Cup quarter-final. That was in his first season. And now, are they in League 1 or League 2?
Ew, Lincoln.
Yeah.
2?
I think they are in League 2, but they done very, very well before he left.
4. They were top when he was there, and then left to go to Huddersfield. Yeah, I get where you're going, but I think they'll probably go with Italian. He's probably capable of doing something like that, but they'll go with Italian. And
he will manage in the Premier League.
I think he will do one day. It'd be interesting. I can see where you're coming, and I think that's amazing stats that he's got. Jesus, didn't realise that. So let's talk about Swansea. Swansea are Swansea for me. Swansea control the ball, play very good football. I really, really rate their manager, Steve Cook. Is it Steve Cook? I think is the manager name is. I really rate him. I think what he did for the under 19s or 20s at the World Cup when they won it was remarkable. I think the team that he's built at Swansea, where they're young, hungry, Swansea played the same way they will always probably play. Control the play, get the ball. Not only have they got that, they now have a deadly finisher in Ryan Brewster. And he is scoring goals for fun. And we leak goals for fun. And also, they have a massive impetus on winning the game, because if they win, and Cardiff and someone else if Cardiff lose, they will go in the playoffs above it. So they're fighting for playoffs. We're not fighting for anything. I have no faith in this game, as you could probably tell. I have no faith in this game whatsoever. I am looking
Deja vu.
Yeah. I will take back that pod, the game before the Blackburn game. I said that you said it would be a 0-0, and I said it would be a crazy game and end like 3-3 or 4-4. I was close. I should have bet on that. I'm telling you. I said I wouldn't swear. I swore like 4 times since I've said that. So Swansea is going to be a tough game. I think we will lose. I don't think we'll win out of this. I think this will be the farewell game for Swift, where I think he will get the minutes. I don't think Gunter and McCleary should play. I think it should be the team that's going to be starting next season. So, Swansea. Okay, so the team that we played against Blackburn, it was a massive uproar. Not a lot of people were happy with the players they were picked. Do you think he's going to stick with it, or do you think he's going to change?
He has to change. He has to change.
If he changes, right, let's see if you're right. I'm going to find a pad and pen here. Hold on. You talk about the Swansea game and talk about what you think. I'm going to find a pen.
Okay. So something has to change, because that was awful against Blackburn. It was atrocious. So after what he said after the game, Baldock, I think, is going to start, especially after that goal, because it was a good goal.
Okay,
and
so let's do this. I'm going to write down the team that you say. All right, we're going to make a game out of this. Starting next season, I've just decided this. Right, we're going to do a point system, me versus you. Okay, on guessing the teams right. Every player we get right, we get a point. Every player you get wrong, or the player's not in, you lose 2 points. I've made that up. The rules will change. I've just made this up this minute. So we're going to see how this goes. Right, goalkeeper.
Raphael, obviously.
Okay, right back.
I reckon Osho will come back in.
Okay, centre back. The two centre backs.
Right. It depends how bad McIntyre's injury is, but if he's still out, then it's going to be Morrison and Moore.
Also, I got a lot of slate, and I want to moan at Reading fans here, and I'm looking at you lot, for when McIntyre come off, Moore come on. And people were moaning, why is Moore coming on? Because he's the captain. He's the club captain. I don't care if he's worse than worse than Maziga, whatever you want to call him. He's the captain. He's going to be picked first. I don't care if he's the worst player in the team. I'm looking directly at the camera so you guys can see my face. He's going to get picked first. Anyway, Moore. Okay, I'll put a /McIntyre just to give you a benefit of the doubt. All right, I'll be nice. I'm not going to be later on in the season when I'm losing. I won't be nice. Okay, left back.
Richards.
Okay. So are we going with are you going with the CDM? How are you going to do your formation?
Just do what Bowen does. 4-2-3-1.
Okay. So who's going to be your 2 midfielders?
I think Swift will play. I think Renault will play.
Has to, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's going to play right wing?
Mate.
Mm-hmm. Centre attacking mid. Ooh, stumped you, isn't it?
Yeah, thinking. Hopefully, Ajari is back, ready, but I think Elise will play again.
All right, so who should I put?
Elise.
Okay, who's going to play left wing?
I'll go for controversial, but Timbe. Give him a game.
The Kenyan sensation. Striker.
Baldock.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do my team. I'm going to go with what I want, not what Bowen's going to pick. This is how I'm going to go now. I'm picking what
Minus
I want.
22 points.
Yeah, it's how it's going to go. Right, Raphael in goal. Right back, I think. I don't want to do this. Gunter.
I do kind of agree.
Farewell game.
Yeah.
I think the two centre-backs will be Morrison. And I'm going to go with you as well, Moore or McIntyre. Left back, Obita. I think Blackett will be dropped because he was bloody awful. Centre defensive midfielder, I'm going to go with Reno. Two central midfielders, I'm going to go for Swift, Ellisy. Right wing, I'm going to go with. Do I go with what I want him to pick, or do I go with what he's going to do?
Go with what you think he'll do.
All right. Oh God, no. All right. So what I think he will do is he'll put Mite.
You started it with Gunter.
I know.
You wouldn't put Gunter in.
No, I know. All right. Fuck it. Boy, right wing.
I hope so.
Baldock. Timbe. I think next season will be a 4-4-2. I think it'll be a different formation. I think there'll be two up top next season, but that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so we'll discuss offline how we'll do the points, and we'll talk with you guys how we do this. But this is a new game we're going to come up with that I'm going to kick his ass at.
There is no planning whatsoever here.
No.
This is just
this podcast. No plans. We don't do plans. We do what we feel, and that's how it's going to go.
The only thing is we got a little list of what we're going to talk about, and it doesn't say in here about the game.
All it says was talk about Swansea, talk about what the team will be. All right.
And then score.
What's the score going to be?
0-0.
I'm going to write your score down.
0-0. No, 0-0. No, definitely not.
You're confident in our defence?
Right. Yes, to be honest, we're capable. And, right, there's something in my head saying, because I remember a couple of years ago, last game of the season, Derby away. We had nothing to play for. Derby needed to beat us to get playoffs. It's the same. Yeah, Kwesi Appiah scored. And you'll remember that game because it was Jack Stacey's debut, and he went off injured, and Tariq Fosu came on to replace him.
Brilliant.
And we beat them 3-0.
Okay, so what's the score going to be? Come on, stop procrastinating. What's the score going to be?
I'm explaining the score choice.
No, don't explain. Score.
Right. So Ryan Brewster's going to score, obviously. And I'm going to say 2-1 Swansea. I'm just saying that he's going to score.
What are you going for?
2-1 Swansea. But they won't get playoffs because Cardiff will secure it.
Who they play? I can't remember. I don't care. I don't care about Cardiff anyway. So, what do I go for? I think I was close last time. So, I think they're going to be more up for it. Go on.
Cardiff are playing Hull.
Well, Cardiff are going up. Hull are going down. Apparently, I heard this thing where Hull have to score 15 goals and the other team needs to lose for them to survive.
Yeah.
Relegate them. Don't make them get hope like that. I hope they win 16-1 just for the laugh.
We conceded 8 one week. Why can't we score 16 this week?
Exactly. So I'm going. I wrote it down. I don't want to say it. I wrote it down.
Do you want to just show it so people have to go to YouTube?
3-1 Swansea.
I was thinking 3-1, but 2-1.
Oh. So we've got this page here. I don't know if you guys can see that on YouTube. This is basically Ryan's score, my score, and the scores, and we will update. I need to clean the camera. It's friggin' awful. We will update that, and we will go through that, and we will update it and go along as we try. So what we want to do is the end of this pod is sort of discuss a little bit about what we're going to do in the future. We're only going to roughly do this for about 2 seconds. It's not going to be 2 seconds, but just a little quick overview of what we're looking to do. So we're looking to aim a little bit more on YouTube. We want to be a little bit more interacting like other pods. I'm not going to name it.
I did say after the Blackburn, I sent you the link to the Smith video, and that's something I want to do.
We will definitely do that. We're going to be more interactive. We're going to do more fun videos. We're going to do a little bit more games, a little bit more of a laugh during the transfer window during the off season. We're going to keep interacting. We're going to try and keep a schedule up until the start of the season. Then it's going to be based on the games that come up. So we're probably going to do it twice a week if that's okay with Ryan. Where I'll be happy to do that as well and just keep it interacting with you guys. We're going to do a lot more live stream. We're going to get more guests on. I'm trying to work with some guests that friends of ours that come in and give a little contrasted views, especially Will, who has the complete opposite mentality of what I do of the Reading team. So I'm going to get him on. I want to get Dan on. I want to get Gareth because I want Gareth to come on to tell him stories because they are epic stuff he's been not about Reading, just about in life.
Will does know we're talking about Reading, not Swindon, though, right?
Or Oxford, or anyone that's near him.
Or Liverpool, or Southampton, as we found out at the weekend.
Will, I know you watched this because you told me earlier you were watching both of them back to back, and I want you to write down in the comments down there what team you're supporting this week, young man. But we'll discuss that a little bit more in the future as well. But thank you ever so much for joining. Thank you for this very long. I think this might have been a little bit longer than what we've done before, but there was so much to discuss, and hopefully we broke it down. We're both contrasting views, and we tried to put it across to you guys as much as we possibly can as well. Ryan is now healthy and not drunk, so it's even better to have him back. It's nice. Okay, not that drunk.
I won't go that far.
It's nice to have someone back to talk to instead of just looking at a camera the whole time. But there might be times that I'm not here that Ryan will have to do it himself. He doesn't know that yet, but he might have to do it himself. There might be times that he's not here again and we'll do it. But we will always find a way of at least getting two videos out, or 2 videos and 2 pods out a week for you guys. We want to try and do things a bit differently than other podcasts. We want to try and be a little bit more interactive and not have a selfish view of the way that you do things or a boring mentality of doing the pod. I'm not digging anyone out. If you're on YouTube, you can just see me smiling. I'm not going to name the pod because of legal reasons, and I don't want to get sued. But let's just say I'd rather not walk down Elm Park Road.
to see the Royals.
Yeah, and that's odd. Right. So thank you ever so much for joining. Thank you ever so much for sticking by. Thank you ever so much to get this up. We will get this out to you tomorrow morning. In the morning, we want to get this out to you as quickly as we can. We want to get
Tuesday.
This done. Yep. What are we today? Monday.
Monday today.
So we're going to get that Tuesday
Record
morning.
Monday, post Tuesday, match Wednesday.
This is so confusing. I'm so confused already. I'm so tired. I did a 5-mile walk earlier and I'm dead. So we'll get this out to you Tuesday morning. We will also get a pod out to you Friday to discuss the Swansea game, and we will go into a lot more detail because me and Ryan need to talk offline about what plans we're going to have. We're going to come up with a schedule as well of what we're going to be doing for each video, and give you a little bit more. And we'll come up with a rule and tell you the points, and you guys can count along as well. I'm doing it. What I'm also going to do for this video as well is down in the comments and in the description, there are links to our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, social media, too many of them, Discord, Podbeam links, once we get the Apple Music, Google Play and all of that, once that gets approved, we will definitely put that down there as well, and then put that across to you guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I know I've talked a lot more than Ryan. Ryan looks like he's about to fall asleep 'cause he's sick of my voice.
I'm looking on Twitter.
He's having fun. He's just leaving me to it. But thank you ever so much for joining. Thank you ever so much. I think the first video nearly got 100 views. That's amazing. Thank you ever so much. I didn't expect that amount. I don't expect it to be for a while because it was a new pod, but we're going to get it out. We're going to get a lot more stuff to you guys, and we're going to get a lot more entertaining as well as the weeks go on, and we get a little bit more comfortable with each other and a little bit of ourselves as well. But thank you ever so much for joining us, and peace.